All right. Thank you, Dominic. So, as he nicely segued there, we're going to talk a little bit about the ductwork design. So, for any dust collection project, the main focus usually from the customer side is on the equipment and which dust collectors and fans and the install and site requirements. However, the ductwork is a hugely important piece of your project. You can have a best designed and perfectly specced out bag house and fan, but if your duct design is not well considered and not matched to your particular requirements, then you're likely to have some performance issues down the road, which could mean lack of suction at your pickups, so dusty air, worn out ductwork, and other problems. So I'm going to go through our solution, the approach that we take to help you as the customer address those problems. So really there's two options as a end user when it comes to duct design and the ductwork. Option one is to keep it in-house, either do it yourself or have your general contractor contract it to someone else and keep it separate essentially from the dust collection equipment. So, what are the benefits of doing that? Well, you control the duct design, your engineers do it, we'll provide you all the interface requirements. So, the flange sizes to connect to the bag house and all those kind of things. And then it's really up to you to do the design and make sure that you have your airflow, velocity considerations all done right. And the ductwork designed correctly based on your constraints. The downside to that is, of course, there can be disconnects in your assumptions, and there's potential to have mistakes. Essentially, when you have us do it, the benefit of baghouse.com as a turnkey solution provider is we've done hundreds of these systems. We know very well how to size and design the ductwork, make sure you have the right size gauges, slide gates, and airflow control devices in the right places to make sure that everything works as you expect. So, there's a risk there that you're basically putting onto us as the solution provider, and you can take it off of your risk register and just let us do it for you. So go ahead and go to the next slide there, Andy. Option two, let us do it. So we will, as I said, we have the experience to do the ductwork, layout, and design. This is a service that we offer as part of essentially as part of our quoting process. So there's no cost, unlike, if you're going to run your project and do a pre-bid evaluation and engineering, you're going to hire a third party to go lay out the facility and hand over the ductwork to us. You're going to have to, incur that expense. But our service is basically tell us essentially what you need. We will give you 3D model layouts, rapidly produce the duct design, and then confirm all the sizing, airflow, velocity requirements, static pressure, everything you need and that we need to correctly spec out your equipment and make sure that the system is set up for your needs. So there's really not a downside. It's a service that we offer that both helps us because it ensures that your system at the end of the day is going to function as intended, which is what everybody wants. And it helps you because you are essentially getting that service for free. And there's a few other benefits that we can kind of offer as a part of that. So go to the next slide, Andy. So how does this work? Basically, we need a few inputs from you. We need to know a general layout of your shop or your process that you're going to be installing dust collection. So quantity and size of pickups, where they're going to go, the type of equipment, so we can design the hoods if required. If we're talking about a conveyor belt or a milling machine, whatever it is, we have our standards. We have the Industrial Hygienist Guide and other standards that kind of tell us and guide how to design the correct size and configuration of hoods and pickups. From there, we do our calculations and calculate the required velocity through the ductwork and size everything to match. We've done this with basically napkin sketches, very rudimentary drawings from the customer, which we can rapidly turn into a model with all of the duct sizing calculations and tables that you can then review and we can change pretty quickly. when needed. So we need from you some kind of a layout of where your pickups go, a little info about the building, so how we're going to be hanging the ductwork, building rafter heights, stuff like that, and some photos where necessary. So it doesn't take a lot for us to generate a really quick budgetary quote along with the engineering layout files that you can then take and review with your team. If you got a really complicated system or you have an existing system you're looking to change, you're not really sure what needs to happen, we send out one of our people and they'll document the current state process you have. We'll feed that into our process and then generate a future state proposal for the ductwork and duct design based on that. It really happens pretty quick. It's fairly seamless. Changes can be made very rapidly. And so basically it's a really nice tool for us as the vendor to help keep the project all tightly controlled and functioning well. And it's good for you because instead of having a separate silo for your duct vendor or your other contractor, and then us as the equipment provider having to coordinate and match up and make sure everything matches, it's all basically done in a one-stop shop, essentially. Next slide, Andy. So what does this look like? What do you actually get as part of this process? And as I mentioned, this can be part of our quoting process. So if Dominic is quoting a large dust collection project, greenfield, new facility, we will have the equipment specs and quote, along with a ductwork layout and quotation, bill of materials to go along with that. So what you get is a 3D model, which can be exportable or exported in several different formats, STL, step file. So if you have a big, complicated Autodesk 3D model of your whole facility and you want to drop the ductwork in there to make sure that everything fits right, we can export that quite quickly. We'll give you the complete bill of materials. So that'll include all the info you need to evaluate the ductwork, the gauges and sizes and types of ductwork, all the hardware, hangers, everything essentially that will go ship along with your ductwork package. You can review that down to the nut and bolt. Various formats of 2D duct layout we can send, from very simple, just for communication, to exportable format. If your general contractor has very specific format requirements, for example, for their mechanical drawings, and they want that duct layout in their specific format, we can export it out of our system quite quickly. They can drop it in there and do whatever they want with it and make it match whatever format is needed. Or we can also generate 2D prints to whatever format requirements you want. Material quote is basically done as part of that process. Our software basically spits out a quote so we can quickly get you pricing information. If you have a change here and there, we run it and click, process, and it'll give you an updated quote. So it's very quick. The airflow and velocity detail report. So the software will also spit out a report which calculates the static pressure, the airflow and velocity to every segment of duct along that system. So in addition, you've got basically everything you could want for the ductwork design, as well as the backing of our experience and expertise. So oftentimes customers make assumptions about the ductwork that aren't borne out by reality. Like, for example, things change in the future. People want to use this machine and not that machine. So slide gates and things are being opened and closed. We can account for all that and run different scenarios in the ductwork software quite quickly. So it's really a great tool. Again, it's something that we offer as part of our service. It's not something that you have to go out and pay for. When we're quoting a system, this is part of it. Now, some special cases where we need to send someone out to your site and evaluate, we will, that might be an additional adder, but generally speaking, we can generate all this stuff as part of our quotation. Special stuff, custom fabricated transitions or, oddball duct union fitting, stuff like that can all be done. Even if it's not necessarily rapidly done in the tool, we work with our fab shops and make sure that we can basically do whatever you need. So that's never been really an issue. Ground supports, wall supports, stanchions, things like that. We can also quote. Just tell us what you need or ask us to advise, and we'll tell you what you need. and we can all add all that into the quote and the model. So basically you get a nice package of a complete ductwork design along with your quote, your system specs, and your equipment info. So we think that's a great tool for you as a customer to lean on us for that. It certainly will help your project go smoother if you have one source for the ductwork, the equipment. And so we just put that out there and let you know that it's available for any project you have.